There's also the DPS. Nah, DPS have nothing to do with HH. If you go into HH with all 4 DPS alive, that DPS has nothing to do with that. It's all tank and healer. Pain is really good. Okay. Let's not pretend that pressing one button is like a challenge or a skill cap, okay? Dude, if you cannot even press Fin or Arrow, then what the fuck are you doing there? I don't think that should be part of a consideration of what makes you a good player. Don't get ahead of yourself. Hey, goddess, I'm a really good melee. I know how to press Fin on... Shut the fuck up. Why would you even need to say that? That's a given. How is that a skill? Please do not give healer and tank too much credit because they know how to mitigate. You should give us DPS players credit too. Fin is really powerful, and me as a melee DPS, I hold high regards about how good I press my Fin there. I feel that if I didn't Fin that, we would have wiped. So technically speaking, I am as skillful as important as my fellow... Shut the fuck up, man. Why the fuck are we discussing about this? Stop simming for support. I'm not simming for support. Let me put it this way. If a healer doesn't know how to heal HH, you are dead. If a melee forgot to press Fin, you might not die. Is it important to have the Fin? Yes. Should you have the Fin? Yes. If you forgot to even press one button, you are a piece of shit. But you know what? If you are a piece of shit, a good healer can still cover your ass. If you got a bad healer, I don't care. You put 10 fins on the boss will still kill you. My magic barrier and arrow, I should take care of that. No. Even with magic barrier and arrow and fin on, if your healer is dog without tank LB, you still die. 10 fins equal 100% physical damage reduction, easy clap. Your melees, don't give yourself too much credit. Your fin is great. Your fin don't matter. Your fin maybe will make a decent healer job easier to the point that you can do it. Your fin is not gonna make a difference to actual good healers. Your fin is not gonna make a difference for absolute dog healers. Don't think I'll ever say I'm glad we had the damage there. Yeah, DPS in this game should never ever talk about anything in terms of difficulty of a fight, unless it's ultimate. But everybody do the same mechanic. But even then, at the end of the day, how you fully learn the fight fast enough for you to get enough rep in to practice your rotation to clear the fight has nothing to do with DPS. It is all tanks and healer. Whether you proc a fight, learn the fight, survive a hit, it's all tanks or healer. You as a DPS, right? The only 2 things you do is number 1, shut the fuck up unless you're a red lead. Or number 2, do your mechanic. We don't care about your damage in proc. Except in ultimate where everybody have to do the same role, but still the healers have to take care of more things than you. Now, you obviously as a DPS you can help. Second wind properly and blood buff properly. Still, sure, it helps. But at the end of the day, whether you proc the fight, whether you progress, whether you survive, it's all tank and healer. As a DPS player, you don't contribute anything except maybe your knowledge of the game because you are already lax in that department during proc. You should be taking extra effort to look at mechanics. Like your tanks and healers are busy as They have to keep the rate alive so that you can prolong the fight. The longer the fight goes, the more information you get. But you cannot also expect the healer and tank to gather those information. You need your DPS players to do it. If you got a raid lead that calls for mechanic, either you get a proper 9th man that do it outside of raid, or one of your DPS player do it. That is where the part where people like Mr. Happy are very good at. His damage don't matter until the boss don't die after 3 attempts at 0.5%. Until that part, whatever button Mr. Happy type of player does don't matter. You as a raid mage, it doesn't matter how well you are at your mana management, how you manage the triple melee combo in my 30 pot, you know, in this phase, don't matter. No one gives a shit. Your healers and your party would have been fine if you just stand down there, observe, and rest people accordingly. I'm glad you bring up stillness. If you're a DPS player progging T and you die to stillness, you need to top off your own deck if you have one. First time getting into T, and then you as a DPS player die to the first stillness, you should be kicked out of your static. You should put that in your resume so that the next static will never invite your ass. If you're responsible, that's what you should do. I get myself to do 0 DPS runs for practice, you fuck up too much. I mean, for ultimate, you should. Honestly speaking, I feel like the game shouldn't allow you to do that. I don't think the game should encourage you to do that. And that's why raid mage is so broken in proc. You want to know what is the best way to proc? Get 2 tanks, 2 healer, and 4 raid mage. You get 4 magic barrier and you got unlimited rest. That's literally the best way to proc. That's the best way to get information. Again, the game shouldn't allow you to do that. Like for example, right? Leaving liquid in 3.0 is the best example. You don't get enough damage on the hands, you wipe. You don't have enough damage to kill the slimes, you wipe. Those two are classic example how DPS check should be implemented in the game. Now, obviously, I don't expect every single mechanic to have a DPS check to determine whether you live or not live. That would be too hard to balance, right? Obviously, like every 10 seconds, it does a mechanic that's a DPS check. That is impossible, right? But like, if you actually think about it, unless there is a door boss, the entire 8.5 minute fight of, say, Abyssos, you can actually learn the entire fight without doing any damage. Think about it. I think that's bad. I feel like, for example, right, when you get to the first high concept, there should be a HP check. If you didn't reach a certain HP check, high concept should just kill you instantly. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like, for example, the way they did blue screen, the way they do P5 in TOP, for example, the way they do P1 in DSR, those are examples. You should meet a threshold before state mechanic goes off, before you can proceed. Since when, aside from Final Fantasy XIV, have you ever do a fight progging a high level difficulty where the game allows you to learn everything doing 0 damage? No. It's actually crazy if you think about it. That's why Ultimate is good, because Ultimate every phases require you to kill the boss. Or if you don't kill the boss, it requires you to hit the threshold. So if you don't do it, you don't see phase 2. You don't see phase 2, you don't see phase 3. I guess Savage Turn 4 is like that. You don't do door boss, you don't see second half. But still, within that, you can still do 0 damage and see the entire fight. I think that's bullshit. Yeah, actually that is a good implementation. Since Square Enix love their red whites, right? Maybe every red white should have a threshold check. If this AoE goes off at 80%, and if you are 81%, you're gonna take 10% more damage from the AoE. Either you have good shields, or you pop extra mitigation, which then makes you suffer for the next 2 minutes of the fight, which then makes you unable to survive the next one, or you just die. This AoE happens at 80%. If the boss is at 81, that means you lack damage, you should die, or you should survive with all the means. So you now prolong your next 2 minutes, you see 2 more minutes of mechanic. I think that's fine. But if you tell me, right, you know, the boss is still like 60% when you see enraged, that is unacceptable. That's unacceptable boss design. Now, luckily for now, no one does that yet. But I'm telling you, it's completely doable. One of these days, we should do a test. I'm gonna invite Xeno, I'm gonna invite Violent, I'm gonna get Momo, and then get another healer, and then I'm gonna get 4 Red Mage. And we do nothing for entire fight, but just Vercure and Verres. We're gonna see Enrage at the boss being 80% health, and I'm gonna upload that. You can actually literally do that and learn the entire fight. Or Red Mage loses so much LB, who cares? Who cares whether you got LB regen when you're progging learning a fight blind? Unless you are like, you know, last 20%, oh shit, this healer LB is gonna let us clear the fight. Yeah, that is only when you are looking for clear the fight. I'm talking about collecting information. That will actually magnify the problem, because I don't think you guys understand what I'm talking about, because we never seen it. It's just very counterintuitive to not press button even while progging. Although we always have the one raid member do it. Don't press button and collect information. And then your raid lead will also tell you guys, literally, don't press any button. Just look at the mechanic. Just do the mechanic properly. Sir, yes sir. Okay. Don't press any button, got it? Those people are still pressing button. No one actually really not press any button. Even when they are red leg, tell them to not press any button and focus mechanic. I mean, fully learn the fight and stop pressing button. I think that's a little bit extreme. I think maybe people do that for the first 3 phases. Maybe people do that for the first 2 mechanics. And then they start to, you know, integrate rotation in as some sort of muscle memory, which cue them to understand when the next mechanic is coming. Okay, I got a No Mercy coming. Thanks to what I'm talking about. What happens when the No Mercy window is up? What happens when you're a Dark Knight and your 2 minutes is up? A tank buster is happening. Every single time, right? The closest thing I see is when Kindred did the sex strat for P8S, P2 for Ego Death. Yeah, that's why I also think that that's also part of the problem of the game they need to look at. I feel like if you die, the game should f you over by not even giving you debuff. It also needs to depend on what fight and what mechanic, because I cannot believe the reason why the 0 healer top is even doable is because Square Enix up magic number when they didn't give you the debuff when you are dead. The only reason why people are able to do that is because in order for you to get past magic number without healer LB, that means that you die and you don't get the debuff and you get out. That's a design error. That is an oversight. Magic number should have given you the debuff even when you are dead. For like Ego Death, the moment people are dead for Ego Death, you should just go to black screen and reset the fight. It shouldn't allow you to still rest after. There is a difference between playing smart, recovering awesomely, versus cheesing. Alternate taking rest zombie up 1 by 1 to prolong the fight by 10 seconds, 20 seconds is cheesing. That is not because you are great at sustaining. That is because you are cheesing. I don't like cheesing. It gives you false hope that you are progressing. Why the f do you guys think PF have so many traps? Limit card 2 to clear. Hey, I saw limit card. Oh yeah! Based on your FF logs, the timeline dictates that you did saw limit card. And then when you click on the logs, the guy is f***ing dead on the ground. That guy got to limit cut because the healer and red mage was rezzing him 10 times and he saw limit cut. That's why you got these motherfuckers go into PF that doesn't know how to do that mechanic, even though they saw it.